Okay, here we go. This is the, to finish off project 2 or week 2, project 1 or week 2. We'll just finish off talking, we did talk about Massport already, so let's look at some of these other things here. Attributes in blocks, yes, you can have attributes added to blocks, and basically that's the attribute definition command, attdef. You can type that in, attdef, attribute definition, and that will allow you to define attributes in blocks. Now, attributes in blocks are basically the most basic textual information you can include in your drawing, and it's sort of a basic intelligence that AutoCAD can have, as close as it gets to BIM, or Building Information Modeling. In fact, I saw another thing called Building Information Management today in that article I showed you about the new Royal Adelaide Hospital. They called it BIM, Building Information Management. Yeah, in a way, it probably is a management system as well, really, probably more fitting. Okay, it's not just about modelling. Okay, so AutoCAD has a couple of other ways you can add information to it, and that's and also extracting a data extraction. Also, you can use the bcount command to count the number of blocks you might have in your drawing. Okay, and what else is there? There's I'll find that other one in a minute. Okay, so basically this here shows you whereabouts you find some of the other commands. Attach external data, or Xdata. All right, Xdata is something that's been around for a long time in AutoCAD, except nobody knows it's there, and really, I've used it once or twice. It's pretty useless. Very hard to use, that's the problem. In fact, other programs such as BricsCAD have an easier way of adding this data and extracting it out, much more user-friendly. But anyhow, and the use of area command is another thing I want to tell you, how to get an area of a drawing or a particular room or whatever. All right, these are basic things, but it's good to know that they're there. Splitting screen we just did just before. Isometric views, visual styles, and the basic use of render we haven't actually done. All right, so discuss embedded information in blocks. We just talked about that. That's attributes. We're not going to go through it. Those of you that have done in some other AutoCAD beforehand would have covered that. Not the basic one, unfortunately. See how we go with that. Now, extracting embedded information, that's through the Xdata. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD for a minute and have a look. Express tools. All right, so as I said before, with attribute definition, you can embed it into a block. What if you don't have a block? Or you can embed something into a line, basically a line or anything. You should be able to, so if I draw a line here, okay, enter, I should be able to attach external data. Oh, by the way, speaking of external data, did you know that you can actually, this is an extra little bit, you can actually, I think Control K will work, add a hyperlink, maybe not, yes, hyperlink, it's Control K, that works in every Windows program. I can actually click on this line here, maybe, hold on, select object, I thought I did. Okay, here you go. No, duplicate, okay, and then go enter. And then you can actually hyperlink something. So this is good for embedding information in your drawings. For example, it could be an email about this job, it could be a product manual location, it could be some correspondence you had about this particular project. Okay, so that's probably more useful, in fact, than Xdata. And easier to extract. So it comes up as normal, and you can maybe put in a web address in there, or where to go and find something, or it could be a reference to another drawing layout. So you go somewhere else. If you click here, it shows you something else. Email address. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, that's Control K, hyperlinking. All right, that was wasn't even mentioned. It just came up. All right, so Xdata, attach Xdata, select this thing here. This is the basic thing. Enter application name. This is just something that you make up. Perhaps it will be type. All right, so what are you entering? Are you entering a real number, an integer, a layer, a long number? This is all programming stuff, all right? Normally, you might want to enter a string. So you click on the str and enter an ASCII string. You might say, pour here, the concrete, okay? So enter that, and enter to come out of that. So although I can't see this information on this thing here, just by clicking on it, even if I list it, li for list, it'll bring up this little screen here. Can we see any information in there? No. Can we go to perhaps properties, right click, properties. Let's see, what can we see? My little pour concrete anywhere? No, it doesn't say pour concrete anywhere. So we can't find it. So how do I get it out? List Xdata. All right, so select that, enter. All right, it says here, there you go. It says that on this line there's an application type, application name called type, and some other sort of programming brackets. And in here it tells me what the actual information is that it's embedded in that line work. Typically you use some sort of a Lisp program or a Visual Basic thing or something, external .NET or something, to interrogate the AutoCAD database to get that information out. You could make it work if you had a complicated system to get that out. But you can see though, and the reason I'm telling you is that the thinking about BIM was actually there. It just was never accessible to anyone to actually easily get it in and out. You had to, the back door way sort of thing. All right, the idea is there. All right. The whole thing came about, I remember years ago going to, probably in late 1990s, going to, a new release. I think it was AutoCAD 13, not 2013, but 13. Yeah. Release 13 or 14, around there, would have been 13. And they were talking about a thing called interoperability, which is a big word. Apparently the Japanese can't pronounce it. I don't know. That's what they said at this seminar. But, they're all big at it, though. They wanted to know what that was, all around the world, really. And, in fact, I can't pronounce it. So, interoperability. So, to be able to talk to another program, operate through, in other words, it's what we have now, I suppose, in a way, with BIM and Navisworks. It's something that talks to every different drawing going into one. But what they did show back then was, with this new objects system that they brought in, that's when AutoCAD converted from being talking about select objects, or back then it was called select entities. It went from entities to objects. We now have objects. The line is an object, okay? So what they said, you'll be able to create new software. The whole thing was rewritten. So you can, then the idea was that you're going to move forward and sort of whatever, how many years later, we're only just about there now. So what the demonstrator was, you'd be able to put a light switch into a wall and you know that's a wall and go into the wall. Hey, what's that? That's BIM now. That's Revit now. They were talking about this idea back then. This is that was the beginning of them being able to create wall objects. The idea was then you're going to move on and create wall objects, and they did. They put that there, not in the basic AutoCAD. They put it in the AutoCAD architecture, or back then architectural desktop. There was a wall object. So that's what allowed them to move forward to that next step, and here we are now. How about that for a bit of history? I wasn't meant to say that either. All right. Sorry.
Did you say it was
interoperability? That was to be able to then, because it's an object, then the theory is that you can, sort of MicroStation can have an object with the same sort of properties, and that object, can talk to each other. Yeah, they'll be able to talk to each other easier, and that's the whole idea. All right. I'll leave it there. I think we said enough of this thing. I don't think there's anything we haven't said. We probably said more than we had to say. All right. So render we haven't done. I'll leave that for a minute. Okay, so let's drop that there. Pause the recording. We'll stop.